Okay, play my land for turn. I am going to tap 7 and cast this Thicc Bois. That is going to untap him because of Raggadragga, and that's going to give him +7/+7 and trample until end of turn. And then I will tap 7 more, and that is going to cast this guy over here. I'm going to untap this one as well again because of Raggadragga. It's going to get a +7/+7 and trample again until end of turn.
Dude, oh my god, how big is that thing gonna get?
That's what she said. The names: Strikar, Lightherder,
Lady Celestria.
Together we are Celestial Strike. And we are back, baby. Episode 3.
Ooh, 3rd time's a charm.
Yeah, that's what they say, I'm pretty sure. But we are here to bring you another weekly little deck tech concept from this new set, y'all. We are, less than 10 days away from release?
Deep.
I mean, y'all, it's getting close to Baldur's Gate time, and I got one that is so dope. And I think it might be the most fun for us to run. It is Raggadragga Gorguts Boss.
Raggadragga. I love it. Raggadragga.
Raggadragga.
If you want to get country.
Yeah, it is a 2 and a Gruul, so a red and green. It's for a 4/4 human boar. Each creature you control with a mana ability gets +2/+2. And so just to explain, with mana ability, that means it can either tap for mana, or if you have anything that says, pay X mana on the card to activate an ability, that is a mana ability. So any card that has that on there, +2/+2 when you get Raggadragga out there. Whenever a creature you control with a mana ability attacks, untap it. So it's like faux vigilance, basically, right? And then when you cast a spell with at least converted mana cost of 7 mana was spent to cast it, untap target creature, so it doesn't have to be the ones that you used, or it is whatever. It gets 7/7, so +7/+7, and gains trample until end of turn. So
massive.
You just immediately, if you cast a spell with mana value 7 or greater, which is very easy because you have a lot of creatures with mana abilities, so you're probably going to be having a ramp effect, right? You pay the 7 mana, you're going to untap one of the creatures that you probably use for the mana that already has a +2/+2, and then you're going to give it +7/+7 and trample until end of turn. And that's not just
crazy.
Once per turn, just so we're clear. You're going to untap that creature if you cast another spell for 7 mana. So if you got 14 floating on your turn, you can do this ability twice.
Oh my god.
+14/+14, and if it's a mana dork or a mana ability, it's actually going to be +16/+16 for that one turn. So, y'all, it gets out
That's
of
so crazy.
hand. And
so crazy.
So that is why I think this might be the most fun deck for maybe me personally. I think Lady C, I think you're going to be into it.
It seems like a really fun.
I think you're going to be into it.
One.
Y'all, let's talk about just some certain things that we feel should be in the deck, and we'll actually have a full link here in the description below. So if you want to go ahead and follow along, pull it up from the Architect. We actually have a full deck built out that we think it'd be pretty nice to have as a commander deck, but we have some recommendations on there. So let's start with enchantments. Lady C, would you like to kick us off here?
Why, certainly. I would love to. So the first thing that we're going over with enchantments is Master Chef. Is a legendary enchantment. It's also a background.
Right.
This commander doesn't have a pairing background, so it's just going to operate as a typical enchantment. It doesn't get to go into the command zone.
Correct.
However, still pretty powerful.
Yes.
Commander creatures you own have this creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on them.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Yes.
So paired with that commander, you're basically getting +4/+4.
Yes, which is insane. You don't even, it's not even just the plus ability part now, because if Raggadragga leaves the battlefield, you're going to lose that plus ability, but the 1/1 counters are going to stay. So having Master Chef out, with it being a 3-drop, I think it's perfect because you can play that before the commander. So commander's going to come out and be a 5/5 instead of 4/4, and then all of the rest of the creatures that you're playing are going to come out with an additional 1/1 counter. So not only are you pumping a lot, but then you just get to add the 1/1 counters already. It's insane. So I'm a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
Another one I was thinking of, Dragon Cultist. Now, the deck that we have built in here doesn't really have a ton of dragons in it. I think there's a few of them, but I'm more using this for the extra ability here as a 4 and a red, so 5 total for this background. Commander creatures we own have, at the beginning of our end step, if a source we controlled dealt 5 or more damage this turn, which seems pretty easy to accomplish when you're pumping things and giving it trample, we're going to create a 4/4 red dragon creature with flying.
Good lord.
So
that is amazing.
Gets kind of out of hand there. Also, another one I was thinking of was Raised by Giants. That one is also, it's not also a 5-drop. It's actually 5 and a green, so it's a 6-drop total. That one is going to give our commander base power and toughness 10/10, and it's a giant in addition to their other types. That part we're not as worried about, but getting the...
Makes a nice beefy commander.
Exactly. You get it with a 10/10, and I mean, it's just... If you were able to get the Master Chef out there, it's actually an 11/11. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah,
but
big time.
Lacey, you want to take this next one here?
Rage Reflection!
Yes.
Creatures you control have double strike, and that is a 4 and 2 red, so a total of 6. That's badass. Once you get, I mean, by the time that you have enough mana where you can drop 6, chances are you've got a bunch of mana creatures out there already. So if you have your commander out there, they're going to get even bigger. And then they're going to get double strike. I mean, come on. And if you have that out there along with the Master Chef, I mean, that's a real quick. That's a real quick.
He can be one-shotting people pretty quick. And
yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to have a big board and then giving everything double strike after they're already pumped. Ugh, yikes. Now, I will say this as a quick, disclaimer. We don't have a lot of non-creature spells, like not a ton. We still have some in there, but like we don't have a lot of non-creature spells, and we'll explain why in a little bit. There's a certain card that we wanted to throw in here with the Thick Daddies that actually benefits you. And plus, we don't have to have a lot of non-creature spells because we can put out mana dorks, which are creatures. But we'll explain that in a little bit. Just wanted to throw this out here just in case people are like, why don't they have a bunch of ramp and stuff? And
this is a very earthy deck. It is just
it's organic.
Yeah, it's a lot of, it's big creature driven.
Yes.
Big tough creatures. How to beef them up with abilities that work together.
Yes.
So there's not just a ton of spells.
But there are a couple of non-creature spells like artifacts in here. I throw in Mind Stone in just about every deck that I can because it's nice ramp and you get the draw ability.
If you need it. And especially once you have enough stuff out, you might not need it anymore. You might be needing another creature so you can just sack it.
Correct. Another one was Two-Handed Axe. This is in the new set as well. And Lady C, you want to take a crack at that one?
Yeah, certainly. So for 2 and a 1...
Red.
For 2 and a red, target creatures. Actually, it's got a sweeping cleave, which is an instant adventure.
So you do the
target
adventure
creatures
first.
you control gain double strike until end of turn. That's just for a 2-drop, basically.
Yep.
So that's pretty nice. And then for the regular cost, whenever equipped creature attacks, double its power until end of turn, and it's 2 to equip.
Yep. So it's very, very nice to
beefy.
Throw it in there with
double whammy.
Yeah, just Get a
Double
little
whammy. And you know, I
power.
did think of one card that you could throw in there that we don't necessarily have in this deck, but since there are so many counters, is an Ozolith.
Yeah, we could throw that in there.
An Ozolith, that way, say you get a board wipe, say you've got a whole bunch of creatures out there, you get a board wipe, you get to keep your 1/1 counters and beef up the next creature that you get.
Yep, that's a possibility for sure. So yeah, Ozolith it's a 1-drop artifact, and when a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had 1/1 counters on it, you're gonna put it onto the Ozolith, and then in the next combat, you're gonna put those 1/1 counters onto another creature. So definitely a possibility. Not in this deck that we have here.
But if you want,
definitely.
anytime that you have a deck where you're putting 1/1 counters on creatures or like beefing creatures up,
it has value.
It's a pretty good little. It's a good little deal. I mean, it's not necessary, but it's a nice little fail-safe.
Yeah.
It's that extra little piece of insurance policy. Is it required? No. Do you need it? No. But if you got it.
If you can make it fit into the deck,
Do it.
I mean, if you can cut a land out of there, if you don't run as many lands,
Yeah.
Throw in the Ozolith, and that's just extra value. And maybe just some more 1/1 counter spells altogether. But also, like I said, we kept it kind of lean and mean on the instants and sorceries, but we do have a few of them in there. Lightning Bolt was one. It got reprinted in this set. I love this card. It's a 1-drop, 3 damage to any target. Just pay a red, and boom, you can
direct damage.
Yeah, someone's face, or
it's such a rude way to start a game, but I
Lightning
still
bolt.
love it. I usually like to save the lightning bolt in case there's a creature that comes out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're feeling
being
hasty,
aggro, yeah.
It's like I said, it's a rude way to start off.
Yes.
You want to immediately piss off your opponent.
Yes.
Do it.
I also threw in You Look Upon the Tarrasque. This is in the new set as well. Choose one. It's either the Run and Hide. You're going to prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you and creatures you control this turn. So
Nice.
kind of like a fog ability,
yeah.
right? But a lot more expensive. The main one that you're probably going to use a lot is target creature gets +5/+5, gains indestructible till end of turn. All creatures your opponents control have to block this creature if they're able to. So that's probably what I'm going to use it for. It's kind of like a faux board wipe in a way.
Especially if you're putting it on one of your beefy creatures
Correct. And so with your creature already being huge, and then you pump it up and it's indestructible, and then everybody has to block it, you can either get through for lethal or get rid of a lot of your opponent's creatures, and that is for 4 and a green, so 5 total for that instant.
And let's also keep in mind, yes, there are some expensive stuff in here, but we're going to get to them in a minute. The majority of the creatures in this deck have mana abilities.
Right.
So you're going to very quickly ramp up. So you'll have lots of ramp.
Yeah, your mana will
Plenty
not
of
be
mana.
a problem in this deck, period. There's just
Unless
no
someone
way.
just keeps board wiping you.
Right.
And if you keep getting board wiped, just get out of that game anyways.
just
It's
rage
dumb.
quit. Just
It's
rage
not
quit.
worth playing.
Lady C, you want to do this one here?
Inescapable Blaze.
Yeah.
This spell can't be countered.
Important.
Blue decks.
Important.
Inescapable Blaze deals 6 damage to any target.
Yep.
And you know my favorite way of using that card? Besides when, someone gets their commander out and you just hate it
Yeah.
whenever they only have 6 life left.
Top
And-
deck that
and
one
they-
and send it right at their face.
Yeah.
Ball game. So
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's happened. It has happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's just,
it's
I don't know.
the most
It's
satisfying way to
just,
win.
it really is, because you're not even having to send off a creature. It's just like, I imagine
like a wizard.
Yeah, sitting on the cliff top and just going,
These are the things we think about.
yeah.
So, we have some sorceries as well. And so the Overwhelming Encounter is in the new set. So it's kind of like, the way that I think about it is like a diet in raise for runners. You know what I'm saying? So creatures you control gain vigilance and trample until end of turn. So that's the in raise thing. But then you roll a d20. So either creatures you control are going to get +2/+2 until end of turn if you roll a 1 through 9. If you roll a 10 through 19, you're going to put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control. So that's a pretty nice permanent instead of just the end of turn pump. And then if you hit a nat 20, you're going to get 4 1/1 counters on each creature you
If you
control.
are a lucky duck,
That's
you get it like that.
yeah. So it's a lot of variance, but you at least get, you're not going to get the Enraze. It's obviously not as expensive. It's a 3+2 green, so a 5-drop total instead of, 8 for Enraze, I think.
Yeah.
So it's diet Enraze for that reason, but you're at least guaranteed the Vigilance, Trample, and the +2/+2 until end of turn. That's a guarantee, right? Because you can't roll a 0. So, but you have the potential to get 4 1/1 counters on all those creatures as well. And
Vigilance and Trample.
that's a big deal.
I mean, that's big.
Yep, you just swing in and then you're already back for blocks. So, yes, I'm a big fan of that card. This is also in the new set. Lady C, you want to take a peek?
Inspired Tinkering. So it's a sorcery, a 5-drop. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Create 3 treasure tokens. So that's not bad at all.
Yep. And yeah, for 4 and a red, that's pretty solid value because you get to exile top 3 cards of your library. You're going to get to have those off, and you can play them until the end of your next turn. So so you create the 3 treasure tokens. That's pretty huge because you're already going to be having a lot of mana. So that's why I don't balk at having
to spend 4 and then having to still pay the mana cost.
Right, because you're going to get 3 treasure back already, and then you're going to have things exiled that you can play out of exile, which is a fun way to get things onto the board and cast spells in general. But I like that one. You know, once again, just a recommendation. It's just extra ramp, and I know it's expensive ramp, but there's other stuff with it. So.
Now, this is the part you've been waiting for. This is,
creatures,
hot stuff.
And ramp creatures in particular. This is how you get the value out of the deck, right? So you don't have to use these exact cards, but these are just cards that we've thrown out that we know they got the tap for mana ability. They're going to get a +2/+2.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you start talking about these 1-drops.
1-drops, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. Elvish Mystic. That's one right there.
Just a 1-drop, 1/1 mana.
Yep, tap for a green, right? Just a seemingly your normal ramp card, right? But when Raggadragga's out there, it's going to be a 3/3, and then it taps for a mana ability, and you can't get more value in Magic than a 1-drop 3/3. I really don't think you can. So that's where we're like, holy shit, this deck gets out of hand pretty quickly. So same with...
So with the... Llanowar,
I always
2
mess
L's,
up that
so
one.
In Spanish
Llanowar,
that's pronounced with like the
Yeah.
There's 2 L's. So anyway, Llanowar elves.
Yeah.
Once again, 1-drop.
Tap
mana.
Tap
1/1
for the green,
tap for mana.
1/1, but it'd be a 3/3, right? And I like this one too, Drover of the Mighty. It's another druid, but if you have a dinosaur, which we have some dinosaurs in the deck, it gets +2/+2, right? As long as you control a dinosaur. For 1 and a green, it's a 1/1, add 1 mana of any color, but you get Raggadragga out there and a dinosaur, you're going to get +5/+5 on this little 2-drop.
And it just doesn't get more earthy than mother effing dinosaurs, y'all.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Same with like I always mess this one up. Elysian, I want to say. Elysian Carotid. So it's a
Elysian Carotid.
It's a 1 and a green for a 1/1 plant. Add 1 mana of any color. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, and remind me, it's Raggadragga 4 or greater? Yes. So you add 2 mana of any color instead, plus it would be getting that +2/+2 counter, or not counters, pump. So it'd be a 3/3 tap for 2 if you have at least Raggadragga out there. So insane value for a 2-drop mana dork, basically, right? Same for like Iron Mirror. It's a
adds a mana,
2-drop, add a red, but it'd be a 3/3 instead of a 1/1. Leafkin Druid, you know.
If you control 4 or more creatures, then you get to add 2 mana instead. Which, I mean, it's just awesome because we've got so many 1 and 2-drop creatures. That's really easy to do.
Easy.
I mean, you're gonna get so much mana in this deck. Just beef.
That's what I'm saying. So we're not scared to put in huge creatures into the deck because of what we're talking about here. Your whole deck is ramp because that's the whole point with Raggadragga. So it's really awesome to be able to have that kind of Gruul Stompy that you can just have all of the huge red-green creatures that Magic has to offer And then your mana dorks are going to get pumped with +2/+2 as well. So even your mana dorks are hard to deal with. It just really excites me to look at something like that. And Leafkin Druid being a 2/5, you know, like that's a great blocker and whatnot. Paradise Druid would be a 4/3 instead, and that's only a 2-drop. Has hexproof as long as it's untapped, so that's hard to deal with too, but you get to tap it to add any color. Trying to think if any other ones off the top of the head here.
Got the Scaled Nurturer.
That's right, we got Scaled
Nurturer.
Let me get you hooked up here. Where is
that
it?
Puppy pulled up.
Where is it? Scaled Nurturer.
Scaled Nurturer.
Where are ya? Wow.
There it is.
Oh, hello. Found him.
Hello.
It's also a 2-drop. I don't know why I was all the way past
I think
this.
everything else is 2-drop, but this one, it's taps for mana, but when you spend the mana to cast a dragon creature spell, you gain 2 life.
And there are plenty of dragons in this deck, so that's a nice one to have right there. And like we said, it'll be a 2/4 instead of a 0/2, so that's a pretty solid one right there.
Yeah.
Also, I like Findhorn Elder.
Ooh, this one's really, really valuable.
2 and a green. You get to tap it for 2 green. So green and green to your mana pool is what you're doing when you tap it. It's a 1/1, but it'd be a 3/3 with Raggadragga, and that is pretty awesome to put out there. Same with the Palladium Mirror.
Palladium Mirror, 3-drop, 2 colorless mana.
Right, and it's a 2/2, so it'd be a 4/4 whenever you get your Mander rolling. And then there's one more Lady C that I think you were...
Underseller Mycanoid.
That's the one.
Myconid.
Myconid.
Mycanoid would be really fun, though.
That would be cool, but it's a fungus.
So it's a 3-drop. Whenever Underseller Myconid enters the battlefield or dies, create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token.
Yeah.
Add 1 mana of any color. So you know that you're going to get... you get the mana ability, but then also when it comes into the battlefield or when it dies, you're going to get 2 sapperling creature tokens for it, which is nice.
Yeah, so great value right there.
Something, a little blocker to protect your mana dorks.
Just keep it out there, and then that'll be a 3/4 right there. So all of it's just nice freaking value. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
and there's still a few more in there.
Yeah.
We've got the Centaur Nurturer.
Yep. So Centaur Nurturer, it's a 3 and a green, and when it enters the battlefield, you're going to gain 3 life. So, you know, usually I would stay clear of more expensive ramp cards like this in my decks, but since the whole deck is ramp, why not?
Why not? And then it taps for 1 mana of any color. So if you're in a good chunk of these mana ramp cards are green.
Yep.
So let's say you're getting these creatures out with green, but you need a red. It's nice to have one that taps for any color.
100%, and it's already a 2/4, so when it gets its Raggadragga pump, you're talking about a 4/6 and a creature ramp, which is pretty awesome. So now
the Zerta Druid.
Oh, we got one more. That's
we've got
right.
several more.
That's right.
We have several more.
What am I talking about here? We got Zerta Druid.
Zerta Druid.
Some of these are from the new set, some of them aren't, so I
forget.
Yeah.
Now this one is a red-green, but it adds 1 green mana, and then whenever it taps for mana, it deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Huge value, y'all. And
Direct damage.
It's a cheap card, not just in converted mana cost, but also in general. It's like 25 cents, y'all. And it's a 1/1, 2-drop little mana dork that does 1 damage each time it taps. But it's going to be a 3/3 whenever you get Ragga going. And so it's pretty awesome. Iron Mirror, I believe we talked about as well already. Any ramps that we're missing? I think the Acolyte, right?
Yeah, the Karametra's Acolyte.
Karametra's Acolyte. I just saw it, didn't I? Here it is. So once again, a 4-drop ramp. I usually steer clear.
Ooh, this one's good though.
But it's really good. It's 3 and a green, and you're gonna tap green for the amount of mana, or you're gonna add that amount of green equal to your devotion to green when you tap it.
So that's stupid. So you could have 4 small mana creatures out there plus this one that makes your devotion to green 5, and that, I mean, if you have other enchantments or anything like that out, that adds to it too. But that makes your devotion to green 5, and you only have to tap this one card, and you get 5 mana.
Boom.
That's amazing. If you have that amount of creatures out, but I mean, yeah, it's incredible.
Stupid value, and it's you get the +2/+2 bump, so you're looking at a 2/6. That's a good blocker to have too. So that's incredible value for the card, right?
You got the Leafkin Avenger.
Yep. So
you get 1 mana for each creature you control with power 4 or greater.
Easy.
So and then you can. For 1 red and 7, Leafkin Adventure deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker. This is a 4/3, so that's pretty valuable as well.
Well, yeah, once you get the pump going, it'll be a 6/5.
Especially knocking those planeswalkers out. You get a Liliana or a freaking Nicol Bolas that you're trying to get rid of, and they've got a bunch of chump blockers out. Yeah, you pay 8, which is easy because you have all your stuff.
To one of the planeswalkers, and you're Gucci, you know. And that's for 2 and a Gruul, so a red and green, so 4 total drop. That's an incredible value for a card. And like I said, don't be scared to have expensive mana abilities in this deck, or even mana rampers that are expensive, because that's the whole point of the deck. You're going to get ramped up extremely quick, and it's that just is what it is, right? We got, I think, 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, we got 2 more. This was a new one, right?
No, this is
Draconic.
There you go. Disciple. Draconic Disciple.
Draconic Disciple.
So it's,
say that 5 times
fast. Easy for me to say. It's 1 in a Gruul, so 1 in a red green, and for a 2/2 human shaman, tap it for 1 mana of any color. Here's the fun part: you can pay 7 and sack it, and then you create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. So if you're like, hey, I don't need it for being a creature or mana anymore, I can just make me a little 5/5 flyer. Boom, easy. So what is our last one?
The very last one is the Undermountain Adventurer.
That's right. I believe I saw it here.
Undermountain Adventurer.
I believe this one's kind of a more expensive one anyway. Yep, here it is. It's another 4-drop from our Baldur's Gate set. It is nice though, because it's vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, you take that and take the initiative. That part I'm not as worried about, because we don't have a lot of venture into the dungeon things going on in the deck. But here's the value part: is it's 3 and a green for a 3/4. So it'd be a 5/6 with Ragga. You're gonna tap it for 2 green. So you just immediately, if for whatever reason you're able to complete dungeons, it's gonna add 6 green instead.
So explain that initiative in case.
Yeah, so the initiative is a dungeon. It's a new dungeon that they came out with. So you're gonna take the initiative. You have to have cards that say take the initiative, right? So you're gonna get the initiative. So that's a dungeon
that you roll for.
Right, you're gonna complete. So things that say venture into the dungeon are gonna complete your initiative for you. So with that,
there's not a whole lot in this deck though. Is there enough to get you there?
Probably not. I mean, that's something that you can add, but to me, I didn't add it for the initiative thing. You know, like I'm trying to pull up the. Oh, excuse me. Oh no. This is right.
Adventure into the Undercity.
But you're gonna adventure to the Undercity. So I'm sorry. The initiative is not the dungeon.
Okay, but so go back to it. Go back to the card. Look at it. Okay, so look. Whenever 1 or more creatures a player controls deals combat damage to you, that player takes the initiative.
So similar to the Monarch, right? That's what it is. So it's a dungeon Monarch, right? So you got to go through these rooms and stuff, just like in any other dungeon.
But you're not really going to venture further into the dungeon with this
Probably
deck.
not. So you get that first little flavor, and then that's it. So this one's more just.
So you're really not going to do 6 unless you want to add a few D&D cards in there, which is, I mean, totally up to you. It's totally up to you.
Dungeon stuff, sure, but just not necessarily what we. I mean, that's not why I added it, if that makes sense. So, you know, I mean, yell at me if you think that that's a dumb idea. I'm totally cool with that. But let's talk about some kind of creatures with mana abilities that are going to get pumped as well. Because like we said, it's the whole point of the deck, right? So what's nice is that both Radas that I can think of, not only does one have a nice tap ability for ramp, but also when it attacks, you add 2 mana. So that one is Rada, Heir to Keld. So that one's just Gruul. So you pay red and green for a 2/2. It'd be a 4/4 with Ragga. You can tap it for green, and when it attacks, it'll add 2 floating red to your mana pool. So pretty good value, I'd say. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah.
The other Rada is also really awesome, especially if you run a lot of creatures. But Lady, you want to take that one?
As long as it's your turn, Rada, Heart of Keld has first strike, which she also has a mana ability, so she's gonna get pumped. She's a 3/3, 1 and a Gruul.
Yep.
You may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play lands from the top of your library, which is
valuable.
Really fun. And then so for 4 and 2 mana, Rada gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control, which is huge if you have a lot of lands, or even if you only have a couple. Well,
it's already going to be a 5/5 with Ragga,
yeah.
And then if you're pumping it again for 6, I mean, hello, you probably are going to have at least like 5 or 6 lands at that point, I would assume. I mean, you're going to have your ramps and stuff, but like, I mean, even if it's really early and you're tapping your ramp creatures to get you there, and even if it's an extra +2, I mean, that's 7/7 in first strike. I mean, that's...
Rada's a bad bitch.
Yeah, she don't mess around, you know? Also a really fun one too is this one.
Targnar.
Yeah.
The Demon Fang Null.
Yeah. So you just pay a Gruul, so red and green for a 2/2 null, and it has Pack Tactics, which means whenever it attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, attacking creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn.
Oh, goodness.
So very easy to do because power 6 or greater is 2 3/3s. You know what I mean? So what's fun here is that it'll not only be a 4/4 instead of a 2/2 with Ragga, but you can pay 4, so 2 and a Gruul, to double Targnar's power and toughness until end of turn. So you can do that multiple times. So you could all of a sudden make it 16/16 out of nowhere.
Very quickly. Yeah.
So, because if you got 8 mana, and then if you're attacking with total 6 or greater, it's going to get an extra +1/+0 pump. I mean, this one is stupid valuable, and it's only a 2-drop, y'all.
That's a really good card.
That's the kind of value we're talking about in this type of deck. So, all this making sense so far?
I think it's great. We got the Carefree Swine Master for 2 and a green.
Yep.
It is a 1/4 Gnome Ranger.
Yeah.
Whenever Carefree Swine Master attacks, you may pay 1 and a green. If you do, create a 2/2 green boar creature token that's tapped and attacking. That's nice.
Yeah, especially since that's not pay the 2 and tap. That means you can pay 2 as many times as you want. So if you want to make 4 2/2 green boars that are attacking with it, you can do that. So,
and that's one of those things that's really good if you're getting mana logged.
yes. You just be like, you know what? I'll just build the board with the Carefree Swine Master.
I mean, do what you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
It just is what it is.
I feel like a good 75% of the time when I play, I either get mana logged or mana screwed.
Yep.
It's one of the two, and I have to figure out how to handle it.
Yep. And so I threw this one in here as well, and we're gonna have to talk it out to see how all of this would work. But Sylvanus Invoker, it's 2 and a green, so a 3-drop total for a 3/2 Dragon Druid. It would be a 5/4 with Ragga's pump. Here's the deal. It says Conjure Elemental is the mana ability you can do. Tap 8, untap target land you control. It becomes an 8/8 elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn. It's still a land. So, answer me this. Would it also not get the Ragga pump because it's now a creature with a mana ability because you could tap it for mana, right? Like, does that... Am I going crazy there?
I believe that's how that works. That's how I am taking it. We could be wrong.
So it should be a 10/10
yeah.
instead of an 8/8 if we do that.
Technically.
That's my interpretation. Y'all yell at me if I'm wrong, but that's the thing that I'm seeing with that.
Well, but it's a land, though. So the elemental creature, is that what you're talking about?
But you can still tap it for mana, right? Like you can, it's now become a creature
mana,
land.
Though. It's maybe.
You know what I'm saying? You can
maybe
tap it for mana, but it may not work that way because it doesn't say tap for the land on the thing, because it's a land. It's assumed that you tap it for that.
So it might.
So
it could be. It could not. We'd have to get some.
Get a judge.
Get a judge.
But regardless, you make one of your lands an 8/8 with trample and haste. I mean, come on. So that's still fun. I think that's still in there. Plus, you get the pump for the original creature anyway. So anyway, we'll move on to creatures we recommend. These don't necessarily and probably don't have mana abilities, but I think work really well in the deck itself. So first one, I'll let you talk about.
Oh, because it's so cute. Okay, Owlbear Cub. Owlbear.
It's one of my new favorite cards.
Anyways, it's a 3-drop, 2 and a green, 3/3 creature bird bear. Its ability, its thing is Mama's coming. Whenever Owlbear Cub attacks a player who controls 8 or more lands, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking that player. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's just a way to cheat out
for a
one
3-drop.
of your huge-ass creatures that you have in your deck, you know?
Crazy.
So, pretty nice. Pretty nice.
And he's so cute.
And that's the main thing, is that it's definitely the goodest boy. Also, I like the Architect of Aggression to put into here, and Archetype. Sorry. Archetype of Aggression. It's 1 and 2 red, 3 total for a 3/2 human warrior. Creatures we control have trample.
Ooh.
Here's the kicker. Creatures your opponents control lose trample and can't have or gain trample.
Oh, that's a target on your back right there. I'd be trying to get rid of that creature as soon as I could.
Yeah, so you you flavor up your creatures and you get rid of other people's stuff.
That's so much
It
value.
always makes you a very popular player at the EDH table whenever you're taking away other people's abilities to do things, right? So you're definitely not going to become a target. I also like this one a lot. Tuya Bear Claw.
Lots of bears stuff in here. Sort of,
lots of bears.
Told you it's earthy.
I like
it's earthy. It makes me think of like woodlands with
loader action, basically. Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, but with like bears and dinosaurs.
Yeah. Couple of dragons. Well, dragons are in Lord of the Rings.
Druids and elves.
Yeah, all this stuff.
All the good stuff. I mean, I don't know. It just makes me imagine this incredible,
pretty awesome,
fantastical, earthy land.
Takes you to another place,
another dimension,
fantasy-wise, but also
plane.
It's just badass because you add this one in here, the Bear Claw one and a Gruul, so 3 total for a 2/2. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And there's some big baddies in here. But let's just say it was Raggadragga. You're looking at a 6/6 right there.
It just turns into that for
just
3.
Immediately.
That's stupid. I'd be pissed if I was playing against that.
So, that's just one of those things that is tough to deal with. Lady C, you want to check out one of these new ones too?
Ambitious Dragonborn, 3 and a green, so a total of 4. It is a dragon barbarian. Oh my. So he enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control, and creature cards in your graveyard.
Yeah. So if something big died, you can put this guy out here. If you had an 8/8.
You could make him like a 20/20.
Well, hold on. No. The X is the greatest power among creatures you control,
and then the greatest,
or in the graveyard.
Oh, or.
So not total. So, yeah.
Okay. But it could still be a pretty... I mean, it says and. It doesn't say or. It says, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control, and creature cards in your graveyard. So maybe it's number of cards. We'd have to get some clarification on that.
Not number of cards, but
number of creature cards.
But maybe you get +X for the
greatest power on the thing, and then the greatest power.
And you put those together. Y'all, we need judges now.
Judges.
That would get out of control if that's the case.
Some of these cards, like, we need them to be in arena so that we can just see what we can get away with.
Don't even get me started on that.
No, it's not. It's not.
But yes. So, but either way, even if it's just total among your board state or graveyard, that's still a really awesome card coming out with +1/+1 counters for like it could be a 5/5 or an 8/8 or whatever, right? Whatever's out there. So pretty awesome. Plus, here's how you combo off with this one. Well, kind of a semi combo, but you get that creature pump. Let's just say like you pump someone up, right? Play this guy in your second main or whatever, like after combat. And if something has like a huge, let's just say it got pumped +10/+10 until end of turn. Let's just say it's a 12/12. Play this guy after combat because it's still that greatest power until end of turn. You're going to get 12 1/1 counters on a 4-drop. You know what I'm saying?
But this doesn't have a mana ability.
It does not. It's just to come out and take advantage of those getting pumped that have the mana ability.
Yes.
So that's...
Yes.
So
yes.
That's going to get pretty out of control.
Okay, guys, so here we're getting to it. We're getting to the big daddies. This is the stuff. This is the stuff that takes all of these cards. It's the heart of it.
Right.
It's
what you're working
piece de la
towards.
resistance.
Yeah. It's what you're working towards. You get all the mana ramp. It's really awesome because in early game your mana ramp's going to be pumped because of Raggadragga. You're going to have so much ramp and so much mana sitting around. What do we do with it, right? It's cool to have the pump on the mana creatures, don't get me wrong, but those aren't win cons.
Those are like, you're still taking a bunch of decent sized dinks, but we want big daddy swings.
Yeah, we gotta have the big daddy swings. So first, let's talk about Nylea's Forerunner. Nylea. I always get it.
Nylea.
Always butcher it. But it's 4 and a green. So 5-drop for a 5/3 beast with trample. Here's the kicker though, other creatures you control have trample.
Beautiful.
Now we talked about that with the archetype earlier, but it's nice to just have those in there just in general, just in case something gets removed
trample,
or you don't draw that or whatever.
Because trample is...
It's a big deal.
Like, yeah, trample just, when it makes these big beefy creatures, it gives them that much more value because somebody could have a token creature deck where they're making a whole bunch of decayed zombies and they have a gazillion. Well, no, decayed zombies can't block, but whatever. You've got a bunch of 1/1s. Say you've got
tokens or something, Scoot Swarm comes out and
making
it's
a bunch
all
of stuff.
this, and it's a bunch of 1/1s that are annoying. You can't get through. Okay, everybody gets trample now. All my big creatures can get through. So I like that. All my mana dorks that I'm pumping now have trample, so those little 1/1s mean nothing.
The Scoot Swarm wouldn't be a terrible one to put in here either. It's a mana ability.
No, it's not.
It is. Every time a land... Oh,
no,
that's landfall.
Because it has to be... Yeah, landfall is not going to be
different. Never mind.
Yeah, it's okay. I like
Edit that out.
I like where you're at. No. This is a one-take show, madam.
Okay.
So, I also would like to point out, who says you can't combo off in Stompy, y'all? Quartzwood Crasher. It's 2 red and a green, so a 5-drop total for a 6/6 dinosaur beast. Remember we talked about Drover would get a +2/+2 if you had control of dinosaur, but it's a 6/6 trampled dinosaur, and whenever one or more creatures you control with trample deals combat damage to a player, create XX green dinosaur beast creature token with trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures dealt to that player.
Oh my god.
So we talked about the archetype. We talked about the Forerunner, right? We're giving everything trample. Y'all, when a creature with trample deals combat damage...
When one or more creatures you control.
Yeah. I mean, well, it won't... Well, that's true. But
no, it says with trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures dealt.
Correct.
So your whole swing, number. If you've got all trample...
Yeah, if you did 10 this turn, you're going to make a 10/10... Green dinosaur with trample.
That's insane.
And that's
still not very expensive for a 6/6 trample.
Yeah, it's just a 5-drop. So, and in this deck, 5 is nothing. Like you're gonna get 5 on turn 3, maybe. Or excuse me, turn 2 maybe is what I should say. Turn 3 is pretty easy to get 5. But,
that's beautiful.
But that's what I'm trying to say is like it's you get pumped up quick, you get ramped up quick, and then you throw this guy out here and you're making huge creatures with trample, and that's how you combo off in Stompy, y'all. Another big one, aggressive mammoth. Take that one, Lady C.
So it's another 6-drop, or no, that one was 5, right?
Yeah, that one was only 5.
So this is a 6-drop, 3 and 3 green. It's an 8/8 creature elephant with trample. Another one of those other creatures you control have trample.
Yes.
So just a big.
We're noticing a theme here. We want trample, please. So
please trample.
Yeah, that's kind of what we want. Another big one in there.
Oh, I love this guy.
Kogla, the Titan Ape.
Oh God, he's so good.
Another 6-drop, 3 and 3 greens for a 7/6 ape. And whenever it attacks, or excuse me, when it enters the battlefield, it's going to fight up to one target creature you don't control. We've done that plenty of times with Kogla. It's very fun. Whenever it attacks, destroy artifact or enchantment defending player controls. That is a huge ability that I feel like gets slept on because people can have like super duper win cons with enchantments and artifacts and stuff like that. You can just start getting rid of that perpetually. And whenever you attack with this, let's just say it could get killed, you can pay 2. So it's a mana ability.
So he's going to come out, if you've got your commander out, with plus
9/8.
Yeah, 9/8.
Instead of 7/6. But you can return a human back to your hand, and it's going to gain indestructible till end of turn. So
this is a big nasty with the mana ability.
Yep. And then if we can get our creatures that give everything trample, all of a sudden Kogla has trample, and it gets a little out of hand.
And not to mention, it's removal.
Yes.
That's what, I mean, and
built-in removal there.
So far, that's built-in removal. We don't have a ton of removal in this deck. Maybe that is something that you might want to add, a rapid bite.
Depending on how you like to
what
play.
Is that one with that kills the flying creature?
Ram through, broken wings, things like that. So yeah, look those up. But
if you want to add some removal.
The reason why I didn't add those particular cards is because of this next card I'd like to talk about. Rullick Thar, the Unbowed. It's a 4 and a Gruul, so a 6 total for a 6/6 Vigilance Reach Ogre Warrior.
Ooh.
It attacks each combat if able, and if we can get the trample creatures out there, great. Here's the kicker, and here's why I built it the way that I built it. Anytime a player casts a non-creature spell, Rullick Thar deals 6 damage to that player. So if you're playing other players that aren't creature-heavy decks, this guy's going to come out there and control things for you, because if they do a non-creature spells, if they're doing a instant or a sorcery or enchantment or artifact, anything like that, they're going to take 6 damage every single time. So now it makes people kind of hold their cards because they're like, well, I can't take 6 damage every time. Guy's got a huge board of trample creatures. I can't throw even if they throw a board wipe out there to get rid of everything, if Rurick's out there, he's still going to take 6 overflow damage off of that. So it's a really good card to have in there. For my preference, right? If you don't want to run Rullick Thar in this deck, please put more removal in the deck, like we were talking about. Put in your Broken Wings and your Ram Through and your, more burn spells and, maybe a board wipe or something like that. Whatever red, some red board wipes. Anyway.
I was about to say, does red have board wipe?
Yeah, they have like the pay X and do X amount of damage to every creature. Yeah. So there's ways to do it. But yes, this is why. This is the thing we were alluding to earlier when we talked about, like, we don't have that many non-creature spells. This is exactly why we didn't do it that way, is because of Rullick Thar, which I think has a ton, and I mean a ton of value in this deck. So, just me thinking out loud.
Not bad. Dread Lenorm. Lenorm. It's a 7-drop, 6 and 1 green. It comes out as a 7/6. Now it does have an adventure that is 3 and a green. The adventure is put 2/1/1 counters on target creature and untap it. It gains hexproof until end of turn.
Pretty nice.
So that's a nice little 4-drop. And then when you cast it as a creature, it can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or less.
Yes.
So once again, if you're going up with a bunch of tokens or whatnot, it can't be blocked.
Yep. And one that I wanted to mention too, we were talking about removal. Meteor Golem. Put it in there. It's easy 7. Well, I say easy 7. 7's not going to be a problem in this deck. Like, I really believe that. So 7-drop, you can destroy a non-land permanent opponent controls. Very easy thing to do, right? So that's some removal right there.
There you go.
But Archetype of Endurance is the next one I wanted to talk about.
This one's good.
It is an 8-drop, 6 and 2 green, but it's a 6/5. Check this out. For the boar, creatures you control have hexproof creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and can't have or gain hexproof.
That's nice.
So
that's really nice.
it's all about making yourself a target. So they're like, oh, I got a hexproof board. No, you don't.
What I love about this deck is a lot of these cards that we have, they have so much value because they do so many different things and they have so many different mechanics. And so it's just really neat because it's like you said, combo. You can still combo with stompy decks.
Yep. And that's what I'm here to prove. So, but yes, last few little big boys.
Little big boys.
I'm always gonna ruin this pronunciation, but it's Borborygmus. Enraged. So this is actually an 8-drop. It is a 4, 2 red, 2 green for a 7/6 Cyclops with trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top 3 cards of our library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Discard a land card, and it's going to deal 3 damage to target creature or player. So it's just a little extra.
I mean, hey, if you cast that and you still and you pull 3 lands and your opponent only has 9 life left, bam, bam, bam.
Exactly. I can just discard land cards, boom, 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 9 damage to the face immediately. So it's a big value card, especially since land, when you're in that phase of the game, isn't really going to be that valuable. And then you can just be like, oh, I have all this land. And you're like, wait a second, I'm mana logged with Borborygmus. Oh, discard, boom, 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 direct damage. So you can do 12 in a turn, you know, like it's pretty nice. So here's probably the best
green card of all time.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I mean, this is Wincon City, Craterhoof Behemoth.
Hello.
It's an 8-drop, 5 and 3 green for a 5/5 with haste.
Yep.
Here's the deal. When Craterhoof Behemoth enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control.
Yep.
With haste. So basically, if you have 8 lands, or it's getting nuts. All of your creatures get +8/+8, and he has haste and trample.
Well, creatures, not lands, but I knew that's what you meant.
Did I say?
You said lands, but just want to make sure that's clear. But
sorry,
you can get 8 creatures in this deck
very
problem.
Easily because you have so much ramp. I meant to say creatures.
I know what you meant.
My
just
bad.
want to make sure people don't get confused about the card. We got people listening on Spotify too, so I just want to make sure.
Sorry,
guys.
Full
visual. But yes, it's creatures you control. You get +X, and holy cow, I've seen this and had it played against me.
It's a win con. This is a rage quit magnet.
So. Also, a very nice win con is in Raise Forerunners. I talked about the diet version of that card earlier, but here's the big boy.
Big Daddy.
It's an 8-drop, so you pay the 5 and the 3 green, but it's a 7/7 boar with Vigilance, Trample, Haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. So, yeah, you're still doing creature pumps like Craterhoof. Obviously not as big, but you still get pretty awesome results from it. But this one is the giant Onkheg, and I'll let you take a peek at that one, Lady C.
It's another 8-drop, 6 and 2 green for an 8/8 insect with trample. Ugh. Giant insect. Gross. But it has ward 2, so that means that anytime if anybody's trying to do anything to it, they have to pay 2 before it'll work.
Yep.
And then other creatures you control have trample and ward 2 as well. Yep. So you get some protection from your blue players, your black players.
Yep. Just in general.
Just some from spells. You're getting those.
Someone tries to do a burn spell on it, they got to pay an extra 2, right? It's a big deal. So you get that out there and everything getting ward 2. Pretty nice. So, and I recently learned this, like if a creature already has a ward on there, it doesn't technically stack, but it's on side of it. So like if it already had ward 2 and it says other creatures you control have ward 2 with the Onkheg there, it actually is going to have ward 2. Does that make sense? So it's not ward 4, but it's ward 4 because you got to pay ward 2 and then pay the other ward 2 in order to get through to the creature. So if you already have things with ward on it, it's pretty awesome. So last one And this is the thickest of all the thickest baddies. It is Galta Primal Hunger. It is a 12 drop, but it gets better. So it's 10 and 2 green for a 12/12 Elder Dinosaur. Once again, calling back to the Drover. Would get a little pump if we have a dinosaur. But this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. So not the highest, total number of power of the creatures you control, and it's a trample.
So if you've got the right amount of creatures out there, this puppy could cost 2.
Yeah.
I've cast it several times in just existing decks where it's
you have
2,
10 total power on the
which it
board.
shouldn't be hard to do.
That's what, 5 2s, 2 5s.
If you've already got your commander out there, you're pumping everything by 2. I mean,
halfway
you can
there,
seriously,
basically.
yeah.
So.
And like I said, I've cast this one for 2. Honestly, the majority of the time, I hold on to it until it's
so
nothing to
cheap,
cost.
and then you just like, oh,
and then you get a 12/12 trample.
for
it's
2 mana.
Stupid.
So it's kind of out of control, and that's kind of the whole point of the deck, right? You just get out of control, earthy things that just go nuts.
Lots of flavor, spice.
I still think this is going to be my favorite one, Raggadragga Gorguts Boss. This is
Gorguts. It's disgusting.
It's right up our alley.
But
you know
I
what
love
I mean?
it, yeah.
Like anything that's big and stompy.
I really like green-red. I do. It's fun.
Rules are
They're
very
always
good
fun
identity.
to play.
Yes. So, and it's nice to have another one.
Yeah.
You can't have too many. So, like we said, check the link in the description that has the full deck there. I mean, we went through a good amount of it, but you can get in there and then you can copy it. You can make your changes that you want. These are just recommendations, right? But I think that this, how we have it set up now, could ruin some people's day.
Yeah.
And it could be a great day for you. So
it'd be really mean.
With all that said, we do have other things that we do other than our podcast. We're live on Twitch every Wednesday and Sunday, so you want to stop by,
6 p.m.
show some love there.
6 p.m. Come hang out with us. Come do some direct challenges with us.
Yeah, we play MTG Arena, and a lot of times it's just Historic Brawl because that's as close as it gets to EDH as you can. It's just your heads up 1v1. 25 life, but yeah, we play with our followers and subs.
And if you like what you see, give us a like and a follow, a sub, whatever platform that you're watching on. Maybe even give us a review.
Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah.
I hope.
Maybe.
Drop it on in. Also, check out some of our other deck techs that we do for specifically for Arena.
Yep.
And then what else? Discord!
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. That's where the magic happens. We've got an amazing community of friends who just really enjoy building decks, teaching each other the tricks of the trade, just figuring out how to become better Magic players, and just nerding it up.
Yep. So it doesn't matter your power level, experience level, whatever.
Because it's all sorts.
You'll have
Discord.
a good time.
It's where the magic happens. So highly recommend. Join the Discord, become a part of the Celestial community, and have full access to the tavern.
100%. So, with all that said, any closing thoughts you can think of?
I just said them.
Oh, well, there you go. With all that said, we really appreciate y'all stopping in.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening, and really hope that you enjoy these decks that we're building. And
enjoy Baldur's Gate.
You get all the lands until it's too many, and then you don't get them anymore.
Yes. Gosh, I hate that. So, until next time, I am Strike Our Lighthearted.
I am Lady Celestria.
Together we are
Celestial Strike.
We will see y'all next time. Take it sleazy.
Goodbye.
Peace.